Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. Today we're up here in Northern Arizona on Route 66 test driving the 2015 Volkswagen Beetle Convertible. After all, this is a car that was built for road trips, built for doing crazy stuff like this, so what a better way to test it out. Let's get started. Why take a modern-day Beetle on old Route 66? Well, they share a lot in common, both iconic of automotive history and lore. They both bring imagery and memories to all who see them, and they both live on today, celebrating the days of yore. And our tester here, it's a toffee brown entry-level model, a 1.8T with technology to be precise. As tested, its price comes to $28,815 including destination, and while you can go upscale well into the 30,000s, this one will be the most common example you see on the roads. Its styling is familiar with big round eyes and a smiling lower grille that always seems to be cheerful and fun. At the rear, the folded convertible top and boot rides high in retro style, a throwback to the earliest models. Its side silhouette is also far from breaking new ground, though its size and footprint is much larger than the original from back in the day. Its standard 17-inch alloy wheels look well proportioned to its body and fit tightly into their openings. To sum up the exterior presentation, Volkswagen does offer up a premium and well-equipped base model with generous chrome trim elements and design aesthetics that could look well at home in a garage with much more expensive cars. The same execution follows through to the inside with body color accent panels on the doors and the dash panel. As equipped, ours had leatherette manually adjustable seats with heating elements, though that certainly wasn't needed here. The audio system here is a touchscreen upgrade which has a backup camera, satellite radio, and CD changer, all of which plays through a well-placed collection of 8 speakers. It does offer an auxiliary input, but VW still doesn't give us a USB port. Putting the top down is a one-touch power experience which only takes a few seconds, and no manual latches are there to undo. It comes with a vinyl boot to cover up the folded top, which does take some effort to put on but fits well and snug. Also standard is a wind deflector to keep the wind buffeting to a minimum. This interior has a very premium feel for it being the base model. Vinyl seats, got a nice bass audio system here, touchscreen, works very well. The most important thing that I want to convey though is notice how quiet it is in here. Right now I'm cruising about 55-60 out here on the highway. I do have the windows up and the wind deflector on, but I don't have to raise my voice to talk. If you had a passenger, you could carry on a conversation quite well, and of course you can hear the audio system, which does sound very good. Now you do have some options here. If you go up into the premium trim grades, you get leather, and of course you get the Fender audio system, which really sounds good too. Comfort for the long drives to and from Northern Arizona from our home base in Phoenix, as well as on the mother road itself, was very good in the front seat. Support and adjustability allowed for just the right positioning, as did the tilt and telescoping steering wheel. The rear seat is rather snug, but not much more than in the coupe. There's room back there for real adults, however, and they do fold down to allow larger things to be placed in the trunk. And the trunk, well, it's smallish too, but larger than in the last generation Beetle Convertible. Under the hood is a new base engine for this year, a 1.8-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder which offers up 170 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. This engine comes mated only with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, this 1.8T engine is much more pleasant than the 2.5-liter 5-cylinder that used to be the base engine in this. That engine always sounded kind of weird to me. It just had a flat torque curve. It wasn't very sporty for a car like this. This one, on the other hand, is very refined. It's very quiet for a 4-cylinder. It's peppy. It's got a nice feel to it. It feels like it belongs in this car a lot more than the last base engine did. This automatic transmission also seems to work very well with it. And the best part about it is I'm getting about 29 mpg on this road trip, which is pretty good, I think. That fuel economy is right in line with what's rated by the EPA, which is 24 mpg city, 32 mpg highway, and 27 mpg combined, with a more balanced city and highway mixture of driving. The 2015 Volkswagen Beetle rides on a version of the Golf 5 architecture, which means it's a bit older than the new MQB platform, which the 2015 Golf is built upon. In terms of handling and refinement, however, that means very little. Power steering is electric with a McPherson strut arrangement up front and a more upscale rear suspension from Volkswagen, a multi-link independent setup instead of the old torsion beam which is found occasionally on lesser models.
Now the handling here is everything you'd expect from a German sedan or a German designed vehicle. It's stable, you get a lot of road feel, and unlike the new Beetle, the last generation convertible, the suspension isn't tuned too softly. They've actually given it enough firmness that you can go play in the curves a little bit. However, if you do want a more aggressive suspension, you go with the 2.0T R-Line, and that suspension on that one is, more akin to what you might find in the GTI.
The 2015 Beetle Convertible is a bit larger than the last generation new Beetle it replaced, now weighing in at 3,200 to 3,300 pounds depending on the model. It is, by all accounts, a mid-sized car by today's standards.
Of all the places I really love to visit on Route 66 in Northern Arizona is this town of Seligman. Of all the little towns along this highway, they've really taken a lot of care to sort of retain its character, and well, they've turned it into sort of a tourist mecca to keep it alive. And the good thing is it is right off of Interstate 40, so you don't have to travel a great distance away from the beaten path to see it. So as you drive down the main drag here, you see a lot of things that tend to have a familiar feel to them, and that's because this is one of the towns, like Holbrook, Arizona, that was sort of used for inspiration for the Cars movies. So that really did touch a lot of people out there and bring this highway some modern day recognition. But it's just fun to drive through this main part of town here, where there are just tons and tons of shops and things to see. And there's also, I might add, tons of tourists here today. Lots of people. Any stop and visit to the town of Seligman wouldn't be a stop and visit in Seligman without a root beer float from the Snowcap. So here we are, the famous Snowcap. Bye-bye now.
Delgadillo Snowcap is as iconic on the Mother Road as the Volkswagen Beetle itself, and our road trip on Route 66 for this test was as much to test the Beetle Convertible's fun factor as well as its real-world drive testing elements. Part of the trip was reuniting the car I came to call Root Beer with many of its distant relatives which populate the scenery of the Mother Road as much as old American branded classics. These include well-planted fixtures of the old to dressed-up icons of movies and expressions of humor. Who says I'm all business?
Well folks, that sums up our little tour of Route 66 today with the 2015 Volkswagen Beetle Convertible. I don't know why I just did that. I hope I didn't tourist it up too much for you folks. I try to keep this informative so it's worth your time to watch. So looking at the specs here, the price on this one is at the lower end of the scale for the Beetle. You can spend a little bit more if you get the premium or the R-Line models, the TDI. There's a lot of different options there, but at this price, there's a lot of value here, I think, and it's a quality car. It's not overpriced at all, I don't think. Now, fuel economy, 29 mpg for the road trip, mostly biased to highway, so it might be just a little bit less if you had more in-town driving, but I thought that was pretty good, and that is on regular fuel. Now, as we look at the stars, the different areas that I score the car, it did very well. I was pretty impressed with it, as I usually am with these Volkswagens. I am admittedly a little bit of a Volkswagen enthusiast, so not entirely fair and balanced. However, the infotainment system's still missing a USB port. Volkswagen needs to get with the program there, and hopefully they will someday soon. But we're still at 4.5 stars for the week. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I sure hope you enjoyed the ride. Oh man, the Burma Shave signs. Don't lose your head. To save a minute. Oh, that one's got a bird sitting on it. You need your head because your brains are in it. Burma Shave. Well, if you like this test drive, click on the link right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do this kind of stuff all the time. We test drive at least one a car a week, sometimes two a car a week, and we've always got other stuff we're doing, so almost a new video every day. So stay tuned. Burma Shave.